Hello students, today we are going to read about the very first chapter and the name of the chapter is integers. So let us first of all try to understand what are integers. As you can see, I have drawn one of the number line in my board and some of the negative numbers I have put it here and 0 and some of the positive numbers. And you can see I have given ... in the right hand side of the positive numbers which represents the continuations of the positive numbers, as well as you can see ... also I have given in the left hand side of the negative numbers which represents what? It is the continuations of the negative numbers. It can go as where it can be. Alright. So integers are what? Integers are all the negative numbers, 0 and the positive numbers present in a number line is called integers, or called what? Integers. So let me give one arrow there. So all the negative integers, negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers present in a number line are called integers. Again, only the negative numbers are called negative integers and all the positive numbers are called positive integers. Alright. So I think all of you have understood up to this much. Now, as I have said about the number line, then there must be some decimals or fractions you will get in between the two numbers. But I must say, as you can say that in between 0 and 1, we will have 0.5, which in fraction it will become as half, 1 by 2. But in integers, what we will do? We will not consider any of the fractions. So I have given cross sign here as because we are not considering any fractions, neither the decimals. So we will take only the negative numbers, 0 as well as positive numbers in an integers. Alright. Next, my question is that what is the answer of 3 plus 9? And you will say it is 12. Now next my question is, how you have got this 12? Can anybody say? As we can see here, the plus sign in between the two of the number, you will say that this plus signifies addition, so that we have done addition, isn't it? But I will say that the process is not truly correct. As for example, let me say if we take two numbers minus 6 plus 4, now you can see that we are getting plus sign in between the two numbers. Now what you will say? Will you do any addition here? No, you cannot, as because if you will do addition, then it will become 6 plus 4 equals to 10, but the answer is wrong, as because the answer is minus 2. Alright. So to know how to do the additions and subtractions properly, for that we have to learn some of the rules. You can call that as a rule or cool tips. I usually say that as a cool tips. So you can see, if we are provided with two of the positive numbers, then what we will do? We will do additions. And if we are provided with two negative numbers, then also we have to do addition. And if we are provided with one positive number and one negative number, then we will do subtraction. As well as if we are provided with one negative number and one positive number, then also we will do subtraction. So accordingly, by using this format, I have taken some of the examples. You can see here, for two positive numbers, I have taken two positive numbers. Next is two negative numbers. Alright. And next, one positive, one negative, and one negative, one positive. So let us try to solve. What we have seen here, if we get two positive numbers, then what we have to do? We have to do addition. So let us do the addition. 24 plus 37 gives how much? 61. Now the next question arises, what sign we have to put here? As you can see, which one is the greater number? What we will see? We will see the greater number. Here 37 is the greater number, and what is the sign present in front of the 37, it is plus, so we will give this as plus. For plus, no need to show any sign, nothing is there means it's plus only. Again, if we are provided with two of the negative numbers, then also we have to do what? Addition. So let us do addition of minus 49 and minus 81. After doing addition, what we will get? We will get 130. Now, what sign we have to put? In between 49 and 81, which one is the greater one? 81 is the greater one than 49, and the sign of 81 is minus, so we will put minus here. Alright. Next, if we get one positive number and one negative number, then what we will do? We will do subtraction. So let us do the subtraction of 72 minus 38. Then what we will get? We will get 34. Here again, what sign we have to do? Either plus or minus. What we have to check? We have to check the greater number. Which one is the greater one? 72 is the greater one, greater than 38, and the sign present in 72 is what? Plus. So we will put plus. So for plus, no need to write anything. Nothing is there means we are getting positive sign only. Next is, if we are provided with one negative numbers and one positive numbers, then also we have to do subtraction. So let us do the subtraction of 37 and 19. What we will get? We will get 18. Now what sign we have to put? For that we have to check which one is the greater number. So we can easily say that 37 is greater than 19, and the sign that is present in front of 37 is minus. So in answer also we will put minus. So in this way we have to follow these rules or these tips, and then we have to do the subtraction and additions like the way I have shown just now. Alright. So I think all of you have understood up to this much. Now let us try to know about the properties of addition, subtractions, multiplications and division. So these are the some of the properties that I have written in the right hand side of my board. So the very first property is closure property. What does the closure property say? That the sum of any two integers, sum of any two integers will always be an integer. So let us take an example, 4 plus 6. So 4 is also an integer, 6 is also an integer. So we are taking sum of two integer, and whatever answer will come, this will be also an integer. So this says that sum of any two integer will always be an integer. So this is called closure property under addition. Now next is what? Subtraction of any two integer will also be again an integer. So let us see, 4 minus 6. This is what? This is 4 is also an integer, 6 minus 6 is also an integer, and subtraction of two integer will always give an integer. Minus 2 is also an integer. So what we have understood, that our closure property is applicable for addition as well as subtraction, and the next one is multiplications. Even in multiplication also we can say that multiplications of any two number, any two integer will also be an integer. Let us take an example of 5 into, you can take either 7 or 5 into minus 7. You can take positive integers, negative integers, you can take any integer, the answer will always come in integers. So 5 7 times is how much? 35, and 5 minus 7 times is minus 35. So whatever the answers for multiplications is coming is in integer. So multiplications of any two integer will also be an integer. I have not given here a division sign. Why? Because let me show you an example for division. As for example, what did I say in the very first of the class, that any fraction or any fractions or decimal is not considered in integers. So let me take an example of 4 by 2. 4 is also an integer, 2 is also an integer. So which gives you how much? 2. 2 times is 4, and After dividing, what we are getting? We are getting 2. So 2 is what? It is an integer. I will take one more example for this, is that 7 by 3. 7 is also an integer, 3 is also an integer. But if we do the division, then what we will get? And it will go on like this. So what is coming? The answer is coming in decimal. But what did I say? That we will not consider any decimal, neither fraction in integer. So closure property under division, it follows sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't follow. So for that I have written only closure property is applicable for addition, subtraction and multiplications, but sometimes it follows for division also, but not every time. Alright, so I have written that in one bracket. So you have understood about closure property. Now let us know about the commutative property. Now, what is the definition for commutative property? Commutative property is two integers can be added in any order. The result will come always same. As for example, if we take a plus b, then the sum of integer will come as an integer, isn't it? From the first property, the sum of two integer will come in integer only. Next, according to commutative property, two integers can be added in any order. If we now swap the number means if we take b in the place of a and a in the place of b, then also the answer will remain same. As for example, let us take 4 plus 13, which will give you 17. Now what we have to do? We have to swap the numbers. In place of a, we will take 13, and in place of b, we will take 4. So 13 plus 4 will give you how much? 17. So what does the commutative property says for addition? Any two integers can be added in any order. Either it can be a plus b or it can be b plus a. The answer will always remain same. So we can say a plus b equals to b plus a. Why we have written here equals to? As because the answer is coming same. Whenever the answer came same, then what we say? We say that a plus b means this is equals to this, as our answer is same. Next is what? I have written here multiplication. I have not written subtraction, neither division. Why? As because this commutative property does not follow in subtraction. Let me show you. What we are doing here, we are changing the order. We are swapping the number, isn't it? So if I take a minus b and if I get the answer as c, what we have to do? According to commutative property, we have to swap the numbers. That means we have to do b minus a, but the answer will never come same as c. So let us see. 4 minus 3 will give you how much? 1. Now what we have to do? We have to swap the numbers. That means we have to bring here 3 in the place of 4, and we have to subtract 4 in the place of b. It will become as minus 1, which is not equals to. So what we will write? A minus b is not equals to b minus a. As the answers are not coming same, so we have written here not equals to. That's why I have not introduced any subtraction sign as well as division sign. So for multiplication, let us see. So let us take an example of 4 into 5. So the answer will come as what? 4 5 times is 20, and if we swap the number 5 into 4, this will also become 20. So according to this, what we can say that if we change the order, the answer remains same. Let us take another example. 4 into minus 7 gives you how much? Minus 28. And if we swap the number, then also my answer will remain same, which says that A into B can be is equals to B into A. So commutative property is applicable only for addition as well as multiplications, neither subtraction nor division. Next is what? Next is associative property. So what is associative property? According to associative property, 3 or more numbers can be added in any order. In any order. Let us see. So the order is A plus B plus C. If we do the addition in this way, whatever answer will come will be an integer, and according to associative property, it is said that if 3, either 3 or more than 3, then we can add the numbers in any order. If I change the order, now let me make a group of A plus B and let me keep C as a single, then also my answer will remain same, from which we can say that A plus B plus C is equals to A plus B plus C. Now let us try with some of the numbers. Let the numbers be 6 plus 3 plus 9. So what is the answer? 3 plus 9 is how much? 12. 12 plus 6 gives 18. Alright. And according to associative property, what we know? We know that 3 or more integers can be grouped in any order. The answer will always remain same. So let us change the group. If we change the group, let us take 6 plus 3 in one group, and let us keep 9 as a single integer. What the answer we will get? 6 plus 3 is what? 9. 9 plus 9, 18. So the answer we are getting is same. From this, what we can write? We can write that A plus B plus C equals to A plus B plus C. Now, associative property is not applicable for subtraction, neither division. It follows only for addition as well as multiplication. As I have showed you for addition, now let me show you for multiplication. So what we know that 3 or more integers can be multiplied in any order, the answer will remain same. So if we take any 3 integers, multiplications of any 3 integers which are grouped in this way, the answer will remain the any integers. Alright. And if we change the order, if we multiply A into B and if we keep C as a single, then also we are getting same answer. From this, what we can write? We can write that A into B into C equals to A into B into C. Now let us see this example with some of the numbers. So let us take the numbers 3 into 8 into 6. Alright. So what you will get? 8 6 times is 48, which will gives you how much? 144. Now what we will do? We will change the order. We will bring 3 and 8 in one group and we will keep 6 as a single. Now see, 3 8 times is how much? 24 into 6, which will give you how much? 144. The answer is coming same, from which we can say that A into B into C equals to A into B into C. Here, distributive property, we will follow this property only for multiplications. So the name itself says that we have to distribute the number. Let us take an example. So we will follow like this. So this property is applicable only for multiplication, so we will write like this. So if we take any three integers like this, then how we can write? A will be distributed to both the numbers. A will be distributed for both the numbers B as well as for C also. So how to write? We will write A into B, and what is the sign provided us? It is plus. So plus A into C. So in this way we can distribute the multiplied integers with the added integers. Alright. So this is called distributive property. Now let us see with some of the numbers. If we are provided with like this 7 plus 6. Alright. Now what we can do? What did I say? The multiplicated number will be always distributed with the numbers that are provided in between the brackets. So first of all, we will multiply with 7. Sorry, it is 7. And what is the sign provided to us? Plus. And then again 9 will be distributed with 6. So what we are getting? 9. 7 times is how much? So in this way we have to find out distributive property. I hope all of you have understood the properties for addition, subtractions, multiplications and division. And here we have completed our first chapter. Next day we will come up with a new chapter, that is chapter number 2. And that's all for today. We will end our class here, and please like and share the video if you like it, and if you face any problem regarding this chapter, then please let me know in the comment sections. Thank you to all.